Let's talk some LSU recruiting. The number one recruit in America is trending to LSU as we go under 2 months until his decision. So in this video, we're going to find out if LSU is now the favorite to land Bryce Underwood. We'll check in on LSU's visitor list as the Florida Gators come to town. We got the great Shea Dixon joining us today. So LSU fans, hit subscribe. It's an exciting time on the recruiting trail. Join the fun at the On3 Recruits channel. Please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. All right. Bring on Shea Dixon from the Bengal Tiger. We're going to talk all about this Bryce Underwood development here in a minute, but the Gators come to town this weekend. And Shea, honestly, I'm already looking ahead at the final home game against Texas A&M. Of course, LSU's got to win this weekend, but that A&M game is going to be crucial because there's some key recruits that could go either way right now, Texas A&M or LSU, and this game could have major implications. So I want to know, how's LSU looking with flip targets Terry Bussey and Gabriel Relaford committed to the Aggies?
Yeah, Josh, I'm with you. Look, the most important thing for LSU right now is winning out. They've got 3 games left, all at home, 2 of them being SEC games, as you noted, Florida up first and then Texas A&M. But that Texas A&M game at the end of the season, if you win out, you're at 9 wins. You've got a chance to go back-to-back 10-win seasons. When you look at the trajectory that A&M's on, and who knows what the rest of their season holds, they are trending in different directions. I think that's important in recruiting. One game never matters. A season, really points towards which way is your program trending. LSU trending up right now, A&M trending down or kind of holding steady. Recruits are noticing that. And Josh, you mentioned 2 big ones. They've already flipped Weston Davis, a 5-star.
Yeah.
Who else can they get? Relaford is the big name in Louisiana. They need D linemen. He's been committed to A&M, but LSU came with an offer. He'll be at that A&M game. He still has an official visit left in his back pocket. So there's some growing optimism on LSU side that they can pull that one off. The same with a guy like Terry Bussey. Now, granted, he's in Texas. Forever he had been considered an A&M lean, but not far after when he committed to A&M. Remember, Josh, he was on LSU's campus 2 weeks later for the Auburn game. Now, I know that all these Texas high schools are in the playoffs right now. It makes visits a little difficult, but it does look like Bussey will be in town for that LSU A&M game at the end of the year. So, boy, will the implications be big if they can see a win for LSU in Tiger Stadium. And like I said, cap off the season with momentum and a chance at another 10-win season.
Yeah, as it stands right now, though, I kind of feel, and I know nothing's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks before that game or maybe even after that game, but I kind of feel right now that LSU's in better shape with Relaford than Bussey. Is that correct?
I think it just depends on who you ask. My gut would say yes because Relaford's a Louisiana guy. I know that Bussey has some Louisiana ties, but again, Gabe Relaford is such a position of need. LSU only has 2 D linemen committed. He is the best D lineman in the state, in my opinion. He's been on fire for 2 years at Evangel. So I think he's a guy that we are really paying close attention to. I would put the edge on Relaford over Bussey.
All right, let's stay on the A&M topic right now and talk 4-star wide receiver Draylon Miller, who recently decommitted from the Aggies about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now, he took a visit to Colorado this past weekend, but what are your sources saying on where LSU stands with Miller?
It's interesting. He decommitted from A&M right after visiting LSU, and there was buzz that he would immediately shut it down. His dad went on record with us and said, no, he wants to take visits. We know Ole Miss flirted around trying to get him to campus, but he's already now returned to College Station. As you noted, he was at Colorado. He'll be at USC in 2 weekends. It looks like he'll be back in College Station this weekend, as I noted, and then at the end of the year, wrap it up with that LSU game in Tiger Stadium against Texas A&M. So you've got a lot of moving pieces right here. LSU does have 1 spot at receiver available. Does he grab it? I will mention Courtney Crutchfield, who decommitted from Arkansas, has been trending to Missouri, but he has not set a decision date, and he's also going to be down at LSU for the Texas A&M game. So I would put Draylon Miller as the front runner for that final receiver spot. Courtney Crutchfield's a little in the mix. And if it's not Miller, Josh, they'll go into the portal and find a guy who they think can help them right away. And to be honest, there's a lot of Louisiana natives out there who are making noise.
Yeah, and LSU has an exciting offense right now. They're going to find somebody to fill that need at wide receiver. Shea, let's talk Bryce Underwood right now. The number 1 overall player, the number 1 QB in the 2025 cycle, and the recruiting prediction machine favored Michigan until yesterday. So what happened? I put a pick in. Yes, I put a pick in for LSU on the recruiting prediction machine, and I've been leaning towards doing this for a while now, but I just thought it was time. 7 or 8 weeks to go, I should say, until that January 6th commitment for Bryce Underwood, and there are no picks on the recruiting prediction machine from any experts, whether it's 24/7 Sports, On3. There's no predictions yet for the number 1 overall player. How is that possible? It's not. I talk to these guys, and I don't get the vibe that anybody's leaning towards Michigan right now when it comes to Bryce Underwood's recruitment. But because nobody's put a pick in on the recruiting prediction machine, it showed Michigan as the percentage leader. So what was the reasoning for my pick? Well, I factored in Underwood's relationship with LSU quarterback coach Joe Sloan. I think Sloan's development of Jaden Daniels is a great example of how Underwood could be utilized in that LSU offense. And frankly, there's stability at LSU right now, whether it's on offense or just as a program. We're not even going to get into all that stuff going on at Michigan right now, but LSU is, at least on offense, they're cooking. And, I also follow the visits. I know he's visited Michigan in the past, but he hasn't this season. Bryce takes his high school football season very seriously, and I think every in-season visit that he's taken is meaningful. When he takes time to go out of state and go visit a school and travel there and travel back, that's taking time away from his high school season, whether it's prep, whether it's recovery. So I think these visits are very meaningful. I also think that the places he hasn't visited during the season speak volumes. Like I said, he's been to Michigan plenty, but he hasn't been to a game all season. He's only an hour away from campus and hasn't made it there. There's something about that kind of sets off whistles to me. Now, it's not the only reason I like LSU, but it is a big one. And this weekend, his high school playoff start. So there's actually a chance, if they go all the way to the championship game, that he might not take another visit before the dead period hits because he's making his decision on January 6th. So all things that we got to watch. Michigan fans, I still think there's some hope. I don't have a signed NIL receipt or a smoking gun that says Bryce Underwood silently committed to LSU. No, it's the recruiting prediction machine. So I made a prediction, an educated one, for LSU. All right, let's bring back in Shea Dixon. You've been covering this Underwood recruitment from the LSU side of things. How do you feel about what I said? How do you feel about my pick for LSU?
I can't disagree with anything you laid out there. And you've also got to pick in on George McIntyre at Alabama.
Yep.
LSU is focused on those two guys from the start. It has just been Underwood and McIntyre, the number 1 and 2 players in the country. You look at Michigan, they've continued to offer guys. Usain Longstreet got an offer. Most recently, Carter Smith went up on a visit and got an offer, a really talented quarterback out of Florida. So Michigan is still going after other guys. LSU's all in on Bryce Underwood and McIntyre. And since we're talking Underwood, I'll add to what you said. Not only did he not visit Michigan for a game this year, he did visit LSU for a game. He was at the Auburn game. He came with a bunch of friends, but he also came with his mom, dad, and sister. And that's been a common theme. And Josh, in 6 months, really less than that, they have had his mom, dad, and sister down 4 times. 2 of those times were on his mother's birthday and his parents' anniversary. So even on weekends where you could say, we're staying home, we've got family stuff going on, they make a cross-country trip to visit LSU, whether it was for camp, whether it was for the Bayou Splash, which was the big recruiting event at the end of the summer, whether it's for a game like the Auburn game. So I feel like LSU's checked a lot of those boxes. The one thing that we're not mentioning, and it's not the Connor Stallions, the drama at Michigan, I'm not thinking about any of that. I went into this season saying this is a 50-50 race. Yes, Josh, Michigan's undefeated. Yes, J.J. McCarthy's in the Heisman race. Yes, LSU has 3 losses. But the Jaden Daniels rise this year to becoming the best player in college football, he has more yards than anyone in college football, is something that stands out to Bryce Underwood. Then you toss in, LSU has the number 1 offense. LSU has the 2 receivers who lead the SEC in every statistical category in Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. Those are the kind of things you can pitch to a quarterback who says, hey, if I come in there, I can pick up where Jaden Daniels left off. That is a big selling point for Bryce Underwood because let's be real. LSU's defense is the reason they have 3 losses. If you are comparing Michigan and LSU's offenses, LSU's offense is much more appealing to a quarterback like Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. All right. Well, I put my prediction in for LSU at 65%. After hearing what Shea had to say, I might up it to 70%. We'll see.
Oh, boy.
Shea, but seriously, both of us know that this recruitment's not over yet. There's still 7-8 weeks to go. So what should LSU fans, they see my prediction, and whether they like me or not, they probably see that as something that's good, or it's the death wish for their chances to land him. But what should LSU fans keep an eye on over the next 7 to 8 weeks when it comes to Underwood?
I think 2 things. One, does he pop back up at Michigan? Obviously, being an hour away, they are very much in this. I still think it's a very, very tight race. But when you put out a top 7, I think you easily go through and start checking off teams that you don't think it is. Oregon and Colorado, for instance, have 2025 quarterbacks committed who are top 100 players and who are both legacies. So I don't think he ends up at either of those schools. Josh, if it's for me, I'll go back to your roots. Florida State landing on that top 7 is a school he's never visited. I know they've got a quarterback committed, but he has, I've talked around to people, has maintained contact with Florida State. Does he pop up in Tallahassee at some point? I know it's tough with playoffs, but maybe some point before it goes dead in December, because after it goes dead in December, it's not going to open back up until after he announces. So I think that's what we've all been watching is what wild card team comes in here. We thought it might be Georgia. We thought it might be Oregon. We've named different teams along the way. Now that we're 2 months out, I kind of wonder if it's Florida State.
Yeah. Hey, as it stands now, right now, I say no visit, no chance, whether it comes to these other programs. But like you said, if he shows up at FSU, then that top 7 starts to make a little bit more sense, because right now they're kind of one of these teams is not like the other, and that's FSU with not getting a visit. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. All right. 2 big names. Let's switch back to this weekend that will be on campus in Baton Rouge this weekend from the 2025 class are the number 1 running back in America, Harlem Berry, and On3's number 8 ranked running back in the class, James Simon, who's from the state of Louisiana. Also, the LSU's loading up for 25 already. The 2025 class already has a 5-star wide receiver in it, DeCorian Moore, already committed. Do you think LSU's number 4 ranked 2025 class is something that Bryce Underwood takes a look at? It feels like yesterday that we were counting down from 100 days until the season starts. Hey guys, wake up. The season is almost over, and the games have been great, don't get me wrong, but you know what's not great? Finding last-minute tickets. Finding tickets before a game can be a flat-out nightmare. Do not let this be the way that your season goes. That's why I'm here to tell you about Game Time. It's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the big-time matchups. Game Time will get you to this year's biggest college football games with elite deals on last-minute tickets and the best price guarantee. Don't stress over getting into your team's favorite rivalry game of the year. There's only so many big games left, and you need to get these tickets at the best prices. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Who has time for that? Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place for last-minute seats. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets on all the sports entertainment events. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, snag the tickets without stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code INSIDESCOOP for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use redeem code INSIDESCOOP for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
There is no doubt about it in my mind. And look, there is a chance that Harlem Berry commits before Underwood does. He's not set a date, but I've heard buzz that after his junior season ends, he could shut it down. That's the number 1 running back in America coming out of New Orleans, with LSU considered the heavy favorite. He'll be on campus again this weekend with James Simon, as you noted, who's a North Louisiana running back We've got him ranked as the number 8 running back in the country. So imagine the pitch to Bryce Underwood. And you talk to On3 National Director of Scouting and Rankings, Charles Power, and the same with Cody Belair, the two guys who kind of spearhead our rankings. Both of them have said LSU's O-line recruiting across these past few years, including this one, is elite. That's what a quarterback loves to see. Then you're tossing in, a 5-star receiver's committed. Teron Francis, the number 1 receiver in Louisiana, a top 300 player, is already committed. You've got a great O-line. And then the guys you just mentioned, we may get you the number 1 running back in the country. And if that's not enough, here's another top 10 running back in the country. That would be an offensive coordinator's dream, LSU fans' dream. But I'm telling you, we could be going into a Bryce Underwood decision with LSU already having a 5-star receiver and a 5-star running back committed.
So you said something there that I don't think LSU fans can just let go. I was going to wrap up this segment, but you said that Harlem Berry could make his decision before Bryce Underwood, who's deciding on January 6th. So when do you think he could do this? Is it something that could pop this weekend?
No, I don't think it pops this weekend. I think he waits till the St. Martin season's over, and maybe he doesn't do it. There's just been buzz out of New Orleans that Harlem has taken a look at the teams. He's been recruited by a number of people for a while now. He emerged early on as a big prospect. And I know that if you're LSU, Josh, your goal is to say, how can we get this done once your junior season ends? Because if they can, it sets up very well for them to pitch to Bryce Underwood. Look what you're coming in and joining. So, no, I don't have a date. No, I don't have that from Harlem's mouth. A lot like you with Bryce Underwood's pick. I don't have a smoking gun, but I've heard enough and I've read the tea leaves that it will not surprise me if he is committed already by the time his junior season ends.
All right. Well, there is a ton of LSU buzz heading into this big weekend against Florida. We'll see how it goes. Shea Dixon, I'll probably talk to you on Monday coming out of the weekend just to pick up on a few things and see where everything stands in your world. Thanks for stopping by today on the Inside Scoop.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.